Alright guys, welcome to the jungle. Yeah, check that out, bamboo, crazy Madagascar theme. Anyway, here's what's important. You are now in the beer room. Here's a summer honey Belgian, that's in secondary, okay? And a cool Black Butte Porter clone, that's also in secondary. Just getting nice and happy. We moved everything over here. And there's a final step before you go and leave your keg alone. Right now we don't have the kegerator yet because the fridge hasn't arrived. So we can't put it in the fridge and cool it, and you want to carbonate in a cool environment. You want to carbonate your beer refrigerated. Right now this is my beer room, so this is the coolest room in the house. It stays about 65 degrees in here. So we're going to carbonate in here for now until hopefully, I think the fridge is coming today, and we'll make another video on that. Probably, part 4 or 5 of whatever this series is. So, we're going to turn the CO2 tank on, make sure that's on, okay? Put about 5 pounds of pressure on it, that's plenty. And what we're going to do is we're going to bleed this keg. And what bleeding means, and I guess I'll wait. Okay, so what bleeding means is, so you've siphoned your beer into your keg, right? And in the process, of course, there's oxygen in the atmosphere. So what you want to do is you want to take that oxygen out of your keg so your beer doesn't absorb it, and you get oxidation, off flavors, and all that weird stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook up the gas line, right? Nothing in the outline, because all we're doing is carbonating the keg right now. Okay, so we're going to hook up the gas line, all right, to the gas in, okay? All right, and then here's my air manifold. So my air manifold controls both of my disconnects, which basically are my gas inlines. So you have two because I have a dual tap kegerator. Alright, so the one that's connected, we're going to follow that, check that, and it's right here. And this is called your check valve. This actually regulates the flow of the CO2. So we're going to turn that on, and you may hear it. You hear it in the tank. Okay? So it's about 5 psi, and what we're going to do is we're going to just burp the keg. Okay? Not a whole lot. We may want to turn that up a little now that it's on. Okay, that's a good pressure. All right, I had to turn it up a little, and then burp the keg out. And people like to do this, 5, 6 times. I like to just hold it out a little. And then on the last one, I'm just going to count to 10 and make sure all that oxygen's out. So what we're doing is we're burping the keg, or we're bleeding the keg, and we're taking all that oxygen and replacing it with a blanket of CO2 so that our beer is protected. All right? And what happens when you're carbonating is, so you set it to a certain pressure, and that pressure fills the headspace. The headspace is the space between the beer and the top of the keg. Okay, that air is your headspace. So we were filling that air with CO2, so because the enemy of beer is oxygen, so we want CO2, a CO2 blanket. All right. Now, when we get a certain amount of CO2 pressure, what happens is the beer is trying to equalize the pressure in the head. So it takes that pressure and dissolves it into the solution. So say you have 10 pounds of pressure on the top in that headspace. What's happening over time is 10 pounds of pressure is going to be in your beer. It wants to equalize the entire keg. So 10 pounds of pressure on top equals 10 pounds of pressure inside. And that's how I'm going to carbonate this. So let me burp it one more time. I'm just going to count to 10 while I burp this. And I may do it one more time, but I'm pretty sure that all the oxygen's out of there. So the way I'm going to carbonate is I'm not going to force carbonate and put it on the side like a lot of people do. I hear from a lot of the homebrew shops that I know is doing it, set it and forget it is just the easier, more functional way to do it. Um, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to change pressures, and um, I hear the beer softer. It's just a better beer overall. And I mean, I cook my chicken low and slow, and my ribs low and slow, so I guess that's, it makes sense that it turns out that way. So I'm gonna bleed it one more time. Okay. And I think we're good on that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it here. We're gonna turn the PSI up to 10. So let's turn it up to 10. And there's a chart online that you can look at. Okay. I want it exactly at 10, if not a little lower than 10. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna fiddle with that, get that to 10. All right, and then once it's at 10, we're just gonna leave it. I'm gonna clean off, wipe off the top of the keg so it's nice and good looking. It's a brand new keg. I'm gonna take good care of it. And we're gonna leave this sit in usually about 5 to 7 days. For a beer this style, you don't want it super carbonated. It's a Belgian strong dark, so we don't want a whole lot of carbonation. Maybe 2 volumes at the most. And then we're gonna drink it. So we'll be back I'll be back when the kegerator, the fridge, gets here, and we'll put that together on video and everything, and then shove this keg in it and get some real carbonation going, because it comes into solution a lot better, like I said, when it's refrigerated. Alright, so thanks for watching. I know this was a freaking crude video, half on a camera that had focus issues, and then half on my iPhone with my shaky hand and one hand doing all the work. So it looks like it's regulated, so we're going to turn that up to 10. And that's where we'll be. Alright guys, so I'll see you guys back at the next video, probably when we get that kegerator, and this whole thing's going to be sweet. And then we're going to dump this one, and the other keg we're going to put in this one, but I don't know if I'm going to do that today, because I want to be able to sanitize those beer lines and run pressure through them. A lot of people don't care to do that, but I want to be able to sanitize those beer lines right before we use them. So we'll probably keg this one when we get the kegerator and put that tower on top.